I love you, and that was annoying.
I'm just so famished.
Yeah, suck it.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
It's me.
From the other side. This is like a
Yeah.
All right, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm interested to see how this podcast is going to go.
Why?
Well, seeing how I've already said this before we started recording, this should come as no surprise to you. But surprise to the people who didn't hear us do this before we hit record.
Mess up. Anyway, Ryan thinks I'm in a mood today.
You're in a mood today. You are in a mood today. I feel like every form of communication that I give you, you take incorrectly.
Oh.
So much so that you take it as in, even you staring at me right now. I feel
I'm
like
not trying.
It feels like to me that you are kind of, I don't think you are looking for a fight, but I feel like you think I'm looking for a fight when in fact I am not at all looking for a fight.
Okay.
Which by definition means I think you're looking for a fight today.
I'm not at all.
So I think you're a little on edge.
I was caught off guard this morning. I definitely came in the defense, after the team deliberated, we went in the change room, and I was like, we got to work on our defense. Like, I was annoyed with how you responded to what I was saying to you. I tried to make
You came to me with a problem. I suggested a solution.
Hold on. No. Stop for a second. What I did wrong this morning was I didn't say, hey, by the way, I'm not looking for a solution to this. You need you to fix this. I'm just venting to you. So, and we should know better by this point, right? Like, I should have been like, listen, I don't need you to fix this, but X, Y, and Z. So essentially, actually, you know what? Let's just get right into it. I love you're annoying because that can be mine.
That's mine because I was pretty pissed this morning.
So last night I had a really shitty sleep and I don't know why. I do know why, but it's kind of silly. So I woke up at 3:30 in the morning out of nowhere and I could not get back to sleep. And usually I can turn my brain off because I'm just dead ass tired all the time. #parenting.
P.S. This has nothing to do with me.
No. And what?
So you shared this information with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep. Literally, I got back to sleep at 6:30 and then you rolled in shortly thereafter. Because I looked at the time. So it was just shitty because we were up at 7. So the whole thing is I could not turn my brain off about mundane tasks. Mostly my issues with my lack of organization within the home. I think that you and I are both really kind of not struggling, but looking for the balance between both of us working so much and then also balancing the home, right? And so for me, I grew up with my mom is a Nazi organizer. She's the most organized woman I know. And I feel like I get really chaotic. My brain gets chaotic and cannot turn off if I have things in my house that I know were unorganized. And currently, and I'm not exaggerating, every single closet and drawer and cupboard is just absolutely full of shit. There's no organization. And I, for whatever reason, could not turn my brain off last night. And then I tried and I was just waking myself up more. So I woke up this morning and I tell you this. I said, babe, I had a really crappy sleep last night. And you were like, why? And I was like, well, I just feel unorganized. And your response to me was because this is how you started, respectfully, babe, what do you have to be stressed about?
Oh my God.
And I was like,
see, this is exactly why I know you're on edge, because I didn't even remotely come close to saying that.
Well, that's how I felt.
And I certainly didn't come close to ever talking like that.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
First of all, babe, I do not sound like ass.
You were like, babe, like respectfully, like what are you, listen, after we spoke, you clearly were coming from a place of like, what are you stressed about? How can I help? Like, I get that
like,
now.
What is it about the disorganization that stresses you out?
I was just
Let's
so tired.
attack that.
And so then I was like, I got on the defense, and absolutely, you're right. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm stressed because of this. And I felt like I needed to validate why I was stressed. And I felt like you were invalidating that. That's on you. That's on me, not on you.
No, I missed it. I missed the opportunity to validate. I should have said, oh, that sucks.
How can we help?
Find a solution.
Yeah, for sure.
I went straight to the solution, which pissed you off. And I'm sitting here thinking, whoa. Here's why I love you so much. Here's what I am very annoyed by.
Okay.
And ladies, I know that this is something you do in emojis on
I know, and I'm
this is
so
something
sorry
you do.
I did it.
I know this is something you do in emojis when you're trying to make a point. It works in an emoji. It never, ever works with your husband or anyone you respect in person.
You're right.
Never, ever
Clap between your words.
Their face. You need to listen. I will not.
I didn't say you need to listen. I was like, babe, I'm stressed because blah, blah, blah. And you're right. It was probably very like condescending, and I apologize.
Authoritative.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Condescending.
I'm really sorry.
You just do not slap in the face of...
Slap hands.
You do not slap in the face of someone that... I didn't say slap your face. You don't do that either. You do not slap in the face of someone that you respect.
God, I'm so sore.
Yeah, you're sore.
Oh,
yeah.
so.
Okay, let's change the subject. I love you and you're
so.
You are annoying. Brittany.
Hey, you're right. I absolutely apologize for that. But I wouldn't have had to clap if you wouldn't have been like... I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. I should not have done that.
Don't do it. Ladies, don't do it. Your husbands are emasculated when you slap and talk to them like they're a child.
I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry. How many times did I say sorry?
Demasculate? Is it demasculate? Emasculate?
Emasculate. I think it's emasculate.
Emasculate would be like to
take
emasculation away from someone. I'm emasculated? No.
Yeah, emasculate.
Yeah, emasculate.
It's fine. Let's move on.
That sounds like a positive. I think that they should change it.
No, it's not.
I know it's not. They should change it. Emasculate.
Excuse me? Webster's Dictionary?
May I?
I have a suggestion.
Webster, may I?
If I may.
You know what word is like that?
What?
And this happened to me, is the word famished.
Oh, well, I think that's just a Ryan Ostafy thing.
Everybody who knows the English language knows that the word famished means that they're full. But if you really think about it, it sounds like you're... No, I just screwed that up. Everybody knows that the word famished... This is embarrassing now. Now I realize how this happened to me. Everybody knows that the word famished means that you're full. But if you think about it, if you think about how the word famished sounds... No. I just screwed it up again. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus.
I'm just going to wait here. Let me want you to pull up the definition for you.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Everybody knows. Like everybody except for me knows that the word famished...
did it twice.
means that...
Famished. Extremely hungry. So you're starving if you're famished. You're not full. Like, damn, I'm famished. Like, I could eat a cow. It's not... Damn, I ate a cow. I'm famished. Yeah. It means you're hungry.
I know, but if you think about it, like when you're finished eating and you're full, like you had a full 10-ounce New York strip loin with a side of garlic mashed potatoes and a salad to start.
Stuffed.
Yeah, well, I'm like, oh, I'm famished.
Yeah, and they're like, sir, dessert?
They're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah,
like, I never know why they keep bringing me more food.
Would you like something else? No, I said idiot. I'm famished, you moron. Oh my God. Words are hard for some people.
So off track.
Words are hard for some people.
Words are hard. Okay, let's move on to our first topic of discussion. Okay, this is just like an extension, a small extension from last week's episode. So we had that amazing talk with Amy Lang about, when to have the talk with your children and just like internet safety and all that. So we have noticed as of late, so Riley has my old phone, and my old phone has like kids YouTube, like fun apps she plays and stuff. But recently she has been like loving YouTube Shorts. And here's the problem with YouTube Shorts is that there's zero monitoring for the app. Like,
it's
unless you're
TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all like reposted. So like when she's on them, we're watching her watch them type thing, because we don't know what she's doing. But she was hanging out with her older friend, who's 11 turning 12, and they're both in cheer. And like, this older girl is so lovely, but again, in a different space of life. So she likes to play with Riley when we're around the same town, and like they like to do dances because they're both in cheer together. And so she was teaching Riley how to do them. Yeah. And so Riley is like living her best life. She loves this. She loves older girls. So she was like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So they taught her a couple dances. And then what happens is this older girl has a private account. So they get to post them and they just watch them. And she shows her mom. Like, it's very PG.
Yeah, there's nothing hidden about this.
No. And so Riley likes to take my old phone, and she is now taught how to do this same thing essentially with YouTube Shorts. Like, you click the sound, you get to make up the dance, but she doesn't post them. But I find that these videos are in my camera roll. And we found a video the other day, and I was like, oh my goodness, Ryan, like, this is a lot for me.
Let's be clear. Her friend does a wonderful job.
Amazing.
A wonderful job of, what is the word I'm looking for? Monitoring the content that she shares with Riley.
Yeah, she's
but
wonderful.
Riley now has access to how these dances were learned.
Right.
And is now on YouTube Shorts doing her own navigating, which does not come with the same guidelines.
No. And the thing is, as Ryan and I were new to this, we were like, oh my God, like, Riley's not allowed on TikTok, right? Like, if she's on TikTok, she's beside me, I'm on my phone, and I've searched like nail videos or cheerleading, like something that is like specific. It's not just random scrolling. So back to this video. So Riley made a video, and it's just of herself, and she is doing this dance that she learned.
Killed it.
Absolutely
She murdered it. She murdered it. It was awesome.
There's like a slow-mo part. It's wicked. But at the very end of the dance, she turns around and she shakes her butt. Like, I don't want to say this because I don't want to sexualize her, but it was like sexually, but she didn't know any better. And then like does the peace sign. And it's because she's mimicking the older girls that she has seen watch. And so Ryan and I were like, how do we approach this conversation while respecting her creativity and not sexualizing her, but also like letting her know that this is not appropriate for her age. And we were like, shit, like, how do we do this? We want to make sure that she feels like that creative freedom. Anyway, she was pissed, like, when we told her.
However you do it, we might not have done it properly.
Yeah.
Because
but you got to do it. Like, you got to figure it out.
What we did say was this: Riley, you need to understand that what we're saying to you isn't do not be creative. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to limit your creativity.
And you're not in trouble.
And you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
However, what you're doing does not match your age level. Mm-hmm. And it is inappropriate, and it can lead to something that is unsafe. What mom and dad are saying to you is only coming from a place of protecting you and loving you. It is not coming from a negative place.
And we didn't even like address.
Still pissed at us.
We didn't address that specific move. We just said you need to be careful with like what you're doing online. And because she was looking at these YouTube shorts, and I was right beside her at the time, and I didn't notice, but you did. And she had pulled up this song that she wants to learn to, but one of the videos was of these two girls who with like tape over their mouth, hands tied behind their back. It's that trend that's like boom, boom, dun, dun, dun,
someone's
dun,
knocking
dun,
on
like,
something, and then they show what's on the other side.
It was not appropriate, and so
the other side was bondage.
Yeah, it was. We were like, oh, so we shut that down quickly. But that was why we had this conversation. We were like this content isn't appropriate for you to consume, and we're not saying you cannot make these videos. Like mom and dad will help you post them on a private channel that no one can see. It's only for you and your friends or whatever. We can help you, but the only way you can do that is to have prerequisites, which are you do not go on the app without mom or dad literally right beside you. We need to vet the song and the content so we know what you're going to see before you see it, essentially. And you need to be aware that if you do come across something that isn't appropriate, then you aren't allowed to do this anymore. And she's pretty good. She like does swipe away, which is like, mom, like that's inappropriate or like whatever. And it's just, we want her to know that we trust her, but at the same time, it is such a dangerous space. but we didn't address her like little butt shake because my whole thing was like, I didn't want to sexualize her because it's not sexual. She was just like, I shake my butt all the time. For
her, it isn't.
No,
and that's the problem.
But for others, it is.
And the problem with it is until you have the conversation, which, full disclosure, we've had parts of, but have not had the full part of the conversation. It is very difficult to speak about over-sexualization when you haven't spoke about sexualization. And so we're treading very lightly, not to make her wrong for this, but at the same token, shutting that shit down. Immediately shutting that down.
Yeah, it's just it's whole
tough.
battleground.
It ended up in about 2 hours of her not talking to us, even though we tried very delicately to let her know that she wasn't in trouble. She still felt disempowered
and
by it.
I think like also Riley is she's notorious for like, she's very much like my brother. She likes to get the last word. She needs to argue. Even like she will die on that hill. Like she just wants to be the one to be like, well, blah, blah. Like she should be a lawyer. Like she likes to argue. So I think like no matter, we were so calm and collected for so long and we were gentle and we were letting her know all of the things that we're supposed to. And then when she starts like spitting back stuff like that don't really affect the conversation just to say shit, that's when you and I are like, whoa, like back up. We need to have a respect. Like we've respected you during this entire conversation, and what you're saying to us right now isn't met with that same respect. So that's when you and I start to get like, excuse me. And so it ended in like the car ride being a dead ass silent, but we just gave her space. We were like, you know what? If you want to, like, whenever you're ready to talk, we're here.
Now, if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, cool story, bro. How did you solve this?
Right.
We didn't.
No.
We don't know.
We're practicing.
We're just letting you know that we failed. We failed at this one. And maybe we might come back later and say, hey, this is how we corrected it. But as of right now, we'll keep you waiting.
But that's parenting, right? Like as long as you're trying and as long as you're aware that there needs to be a conversation, I think that you're already a step ahead. Like we're doing our best. This is
not the podcast for you to listen to get the answer to that question.
Go back to Amy Lang's.
Yeah. Go to the people who actually know what they're talking about, because we just wasted.
We're just sharing our failures.
Wasted a lot of your time
to make you feel better.
Great story, guys.
Great story. Okay, you want to talk about this video you sent me, which also at the beginning I was like, why are you saying this to me?
Oh yeah, see, because you get easily offended sometimes.
No, I was just like, this is confusing, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. So if once you got past the idea that I wasn't sharing this with you
because you thought it was because I thought it was a situation, yeah,
then you got to see what this was.
Right.
So I watched this TikTok. No, it wasn't TikTok. I don't have TikTok.
It's like a talk show.
Yeah. So I think he was. I don't know. But I don't know who the guy is, and I don't know what he looked like. He was on the set of Steve Harvey's show.
You know what though? We'll put the link in the show notes.
Will we? Because I don't know where it is.
I do.
Oh, I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There you go. So this guy looked like he was on the set of Steve Harvey. He seemed to be. I would say he spoke like a pastor.
Yeah, he did.
So very well spoken, very articulate. But he was speaking to women, and he was trying to explain to them the relationship that they have with their husbands in relation to the relationship that husband had with his mother.
Right.
This was interesting, and it's a two-parter because he doesn't talk about the other part that I'm going to talk about, which is what connected the kind of thing, which is why I sent it to you, because I wasn't sending it to you to say, Brittany, you are a bitch and you are wrong.
You are a bitch.
I was saying this is an interesting take on it because I'd never heard of it.
I get it.
So long story, you get it. Okay. I get that you get it.
Just say it.
I love you, and that was annoying.
I'm just so famished.
Yeah. Anyways, so here's how the story goes. He essentially said this: ladies, your husband grew up with a mother that, for the most part,
yes, most men had this relationship,
and we're talking about a heterosexual relationship here. Your spouse grew up, for the most part, with a mother in his life that unconditionally loved him, supported him, and took care of him, nurtured, natured, and all of the other fun stuff.
That includes like making lunches, doing laundry, like all those things.
Unconditional love.
Yeah.
Then enter you into the relationship. The wife. Again, heterosexual relationship. We are not, and I'm not suggesting for a second that you replace the mother.
Yeah.
Okay, so be very clear. We all know that it is not your job to replace the role of the mother. The man does not marry his mother. We're not suggesting that. And nor was he. Well, maybe they do. But I'm not suggesting that. What I'm trying to say is there's a correlation here. You enter into the picture and you love that man, but you do not love that man the way that his mother loved him.
Right.
Unconditionally. You see faults, you nag, you have all of these things. You don't do the things that the mother did. And he can accept that as his reality.
But then the next layer
is once you have children, that man sees that you are capable of that unconditional love, and you choose not to give it to him.
You give it to the children.
But you give it to your children. So this is where the complex comes into play. It's like, I know a woman to be this role because I had this woman in my life for my entire life until I met you. Then when I met you, I realized that there was another layer to women. It doesn't have to look that way, and I accepted it as such. But when I recognize and realize that you, the other woman, are capable of being exactly like my mother and choose not to be, that's where things get really fucking messy.
See, like, I still, like, even rehearing this, I see the point he's trying to make, but as a woman, it's also like, it's very frustrating because it's not the same love. And it never will be the same love. Like, you love your children because you are there for them and they're for their survival. It is your job as a parent, not as a spouse, to take care of your spouse. It's my job to take care of my children. You are an adult. You can take care of yourself. So this whole like paradox for me isn't really a paradox. I can see that there might be like a shift in like, this might be interesting for a male to kind of get over. And we will speak about this because honestly, like when Ryan and I moved in together for our very first house, we kind of went through this, like where we lived with my parents for a little bit, but it was different because we had our parents there. And so when the first time we moved in alone, I ended up doing all of the things that your mom typically did. And I was getting hella frustrated, obviously, because I was not your mother. We didn't have kids yet, but I was like, I'm not your mom. And nor do I want to be seen like your mom because that takes like the sexualness out of our relationship. I am not your housekeeper. And so I think that like looking back, that might have been like an internal conversation for you that you didn't even know you were having.
This is why I'm having it.
Yeah.
This is why I'm having it, because subconsciously, this is it. Subconsciously, at the foundation of our thought patterns, this is what drives that relationship. This is where the fuckery comes into play, because we cannot understand how you can be this way, but choose not to be this way with us.
Yeah, but we didn't have kids yet. So your like fuckery hasn't even come into play yet.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say to you is like at the beginning stages of me transitioning from my relationship with my mother to my relationship with you, I struggled, you struggled. We were able to put words around that struggle. Then I realized, oh, wait a second. That's right. You're not my mother and you're not a mother and you are not, that's not who you are.
I think that
then you became a mother and you were that way.
I think this is also extra hard for relationships and people and couples who grew up with not only a mother that did that for them, like say the male had a mom who was like super like unconditional love, but also generationally, that same mom took care of her husband, the same way because like, oh, dinner is ready at 5 o'clock. Like I'll do your laundry. I will clean the house. It's just not the same. The roles have changed since our parents have been, and even before that, like my mom worked, your mom worked, but like a lot of moms were stay-at-home moms.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom until we were old enough to fend for ourselves. Yeah. I think I was in high school before my mom started working.
It's just, I think it's really triggering for your generation.
I mean, a 9 to 5. I don't mean my mom always worked. But.
Your generation specifically is, I think, really affected by this because they grew up with a mom who not only showered their father with this unconditional sandwiches are ready, laundry is done, like where now, and then like, loved the baby boy, where now it's like women are working their asses off and still expected to do all of those things. And the thought of having to have that unconditional, I'll do everything for you, for your spouse is like, I didn't sign up for an additional child. You know what I mean? And that's hard on a couple too, because like, you don't want to see your partner as a child because it's really not it's not fun. I don't want an extra burden. I don't want the extra workload mentally and physically internally of taking care of my spouse, I do that for my kids. So I get where you're coming from. I get that that's a very interesting conversation. And if most males can actually see that, which I don't think will without having this conversation, it can be very tricky for both sides.
Absolutely. But here's where the other layer comes into play. And when I really did the looking at this, I thought, this is very interesting, because in a traditional relationship that we're referring to, heterosexual traditional relationship, and maybe that's not even traditional anymore, but I don't care. In this heterosexual relationship that we're dealing with, the role of the husband is very similar to the role of the father.
What do you mean?
We are looked at as husbands very similar to the way that you looked at your father. We adapt that relationship of, this is what a father did for, like, when I think of my relationship,
a provider, a caring,
a provider, a carrier.
Okay.
Like, I will make sure the door is locked. I will make sure the security system is on. I will be the one that's at the door so that if someone stabs someone, it's me first. So you're saying
it's like a double standard.
It's not a double standard. No, it's not a double standard. It's our understanding of how the roles work.
Okay.
We fit into the role of the father, the provider,
the protector,
the masculinity. Okay. We take on that right away. Mm-hmm. And so the gap between father and husband is far shorter or smaller than the gap is between mother and wife.
I could see that.
And so traditionally, you go towards people that are like your father. The man see that as a relationship, and that's what a relationship looks like, and that's what our role is. And we step into that role of provider, father, where you do not necessarily step into the role of mother. And understandably so. But it's where the mindfuckery comes into play is we adapt into father role differently and right away, where you don't. And so we're like, wait a second, how can we be this but not get this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. No, like it's a very interesting take, because you are right. Like, and it is a weird little double standard in that space, because it's like, no, the wife is not expected to be that mother. She isn't. Where I see what you're saying, where for me, I'm like, well, yeah, like you kind of are like my dad. I feel protected around you. I feel like you do provide. And it is a very like similar role on that spectrum. And I do get that. I just think that these conversations, I don't necessarily think there needs to be like and this is the answer.
No, there's no answer.
They're just such good conversations, because it really allows you to, when you're in that space, to kind of take a step back and be like, holy shit, am I thinking this because this is what I was groomed into thinking in my childhood and my generational like upbringing, or is it because X, Y, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just,
but it's funny because this is where like you see it on TV all the time, and TikTok and Instagram, they do a wonderful job of like, cool kid becomes dad. We talk about dad jokes. We literally become dads the second we decide to get married. We become that role. The hands on the shoulder, look at the grass, look how I cut that thing. It's this sense of masculinity. It's this sense of pride. It's an easy transition for us to fall into. Whereas the role of the mother and the caretaker in the feminine isn't an easy transition for you. It's a mind fuckery for the man, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways, cool story.
I wanted to just briefly touch on this. Hold on, before you do that. We had some friends over on the weekend, and our friends ended up bringing their brother and his 14-year-old son. And I just have to say, I never told you about this. So like, it's very funny. I always wonder, like,
and wait a second. Am I going to be embarrassed by this? Did I do something embarrassing?
No, it's not embarrassing. I just found it a little bit funny.
Oh.
So like,
it's a little bit funny.
When do you as a parent become that like uncool, I don't know how to talk to teenagers? And by no means am I saying you don't know how to talk to teenagers. I actually think that you would have been an incredible high school teacher or university professor, because you are very like hands-on and you can like get on their level.
Okay. Thanks you for saying that last part.
Yeah. Why?
I'd be a great high school teacher because I'm hands-on.
No, I just meant
come
like,
into the classroom, children. Let's do science experiments.
Stop. So whatever, this 14-year-old's there, and there's young kids. Like the oldest kid there was 8, so he was like really just hanging out with the adults and talking, not talking, just kind of like being there, because he'd rather be there because he has 2 younger like half siblings. So at one point you turn to him and you're like, so Tristan, what are you into?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? But Like, do you remember?
I remember.
Hold on. As a child, as a teenager, do you feel like a parent, a cool person would be like, hey man, what are you into? Or you just be like, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? It's just such a funny vibe. Like, how do you come across as not being like such a squarehead without like, but you want to get to know them. You want them to start talking. And it's just so funny. And I think it's different because like I taught high school. So I feel like I have a little bit better of an idea of like how to communicate, I would say, with them.
And you're hip to the jive with the TikToks and all of that
like,
shit.
Literally like on the sidelines, like, yeah, Tristan, tell me some things that you're into. I went to Candace. I was like, oh my God, I love my husband and I know he's trying and he's coming from a good place, but I would just love to know what Tristan's inner dialogue was. Like, bro, people don't say that.
Whatever.
Sorry, I
just so you know, he's into hockey.
Yeah, he is. He's real good. Anyway, okay. You wanted to play a game?
No, I want to talk. No, because I want to talk about this traditional thing that we were talking about.
Yeah. You want to do that? That's good.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because we just had this segue of how the world is changing rapidly and how it's quickly adapting. Now, we just had this conversation the other day because we tend to watch after work. I tend to work until about 6 o'clock. And now I work at home, which makes it very difficult because I can hear for 3 hours the kids slowly driving you insane.
As I'm trying to work.
As you're trying to work and as you're trying to prepare their food and do that whole thing. So when I come upstairs, you put the kids up on the island, they eat their dinner. We tried to eat our dinner off to the side while watching.
Literally 6 minutes of like any show.
Below deck, mainly below deck.
Yeah.
And it never works out because the kids are always getting off. They want to talk to us. They want our attention. And I'll be fully transparent when I say this. They haven't seen me. They want my attention. And I'm like, I just want to fucking eat.
Yes.
And I want to talk to your mother. And I want to watch goddamn Below Deck. I want to know.
Like, leave us alone.
I want to know how they fall out of the hot tub. Would you just leave me alone? They're in a G-string. You can't see this information, but give it to me.
Go over there.
Give me 10 minutes. Then we had this like, wait a second. Our kids are actually trying to have conversations with us. And we have separated them in an entirely different room to eat dinner while we're eating dinner.
I know. It made me so sad when we were thinking about, like, what the fuck is wrong with us?
Like, why are we not sitting down at a table and eating together? And having the conversations that they want to have so that they can feel fulfilled. They can get that cup filleth over. And then when it's done, we can have our conversations. But more importantly, we have literally separated our family to eat dinner. And we're like, two things. Number one, let's go back to the way that it was. Like, because growing up for me,
same
6:30 every night, Monday to Friday. The weekends were the only exception where this didn't happen.
Right.
And it happened, but if you weren't there, you were excluded from it, and it was okay. But Monday to Friday, my family at 6:30, we sat down and ate dinner.
Yeah, we did the same. Not 6:30, but we were like, we sat at the kitchen at
6:30 doesn't really matter.
And we had those conversations, and that's really where you get to, hey, what are you into?
Yeah,
that's where you have like your conversation is about your day without it being like forced, because you're just like speaking and talking about what happened that day. And I do think we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace, because this is the year, we could have done this earlier for sure, but this is the year that we've been able to have Cooper like up at the counter and like eat without us like spoon-fooling
him.
Spoon.
Cooper, would you like your mother to spoon-fool you? What was that?
Spoon feeding him.
What are you into? You're not cool either, Brittany.
Spoon feeding him food without him like being a disaster, because typically like we put up the iPad and they get to watch something and they talk together and it's really cute. And furthermore, Ryan and I, although we both work from home and like we are around each other a lot and we podcast, we actually don't get to have a conversation with each other like without being interrupted like most parents until after they're in bed. And it's literally so frustrating.
I don't even want to talk to you at 9 o'clock.
Like, I know. I'm like, I just want to watch a show. I don't want my brain to work anymore. So I think that for us, we were just really holding on to the idea of like, okay, this is mom and dad's time to like have a conversation. But you hit the nail on the head. Like, our kids were literally coming off of their stools and being like, hey, like asking us shit, or like, I'm done. Can I come sit here? And we were like, get over there. Get.
Would you leave us alone?
Yeah. And so we are now doing a way better job. We literally implemented
Starting yesterday.
this. We started yesterday. And
we are doing a way better job.
It was so
Day
good.
one.
But we're going to do it again tonight. And I'm like looking forward to it. We also said that we're going to drive them because Ryan and I have this rule. I cook everything and then Ryan cleans it. So after we're done, I'm going to move the kids to the basement because we want our basement to be like our hangout place because we finished it for that reason. All of their toys are down here. We are like, we don't want your freaking toys on the main floor because there's so many, but like they can be down here. We can have our big comfy couch.
We're just looking to create the big comfy couch.
So good.
We're just looking to create some more structure that creates more family time.
Family unit.
So dinner at the table, drive the conversation downstairs, carry the conversation forward.
Play some Nintendo Switch.
Smoke the kids, and then bring them back upstairs.
Like, smoke some ganja.
Bring the kids upstairs and then call it a night, and then we can have our time. It's like really, truly understanding that time that we want to spend together is missing the time with the family. So create create the family dynamic, insert the family dynamic. I cannot talk today.
And there's going to be one of those days that the kids aren't going to want to sit with us. So we got to like soak it up.
Soak it up. But create it because we want it because we had it.
Yeah, I know.
So create it so that they want it.
Right. Okay, let's do this game.
No, that's it.
No, I want to. I want to do like a couple of them because you didn't write any down, did you?
Well, I did.
Do it. Do 3.
I did.
I want to hear it. I want to see how prepared you are.
I did write it down.
I'm looking at your notepad. You have literally
This is a fun game. This is a fun game to play with your spouse late at night when you're maybe intoxicated. Maybe we'll turn this into a TikTok thing.
Okay.
But it's called You Know You're a Parent When.
Okay.
And the rules of the game are very simple. You have to say one line in a movie or one line from a song in a movie.
That would be like a child's show or a children's show. Okay.
You know you're a parent when Game of Thrones.
I'm just being clear.
Yeah, to be clear, it has to involve things that would involve your children, which would indicate that you're a parent. Anyways.
Okay.
So you say a line, and it's not a long line. It can't be a long line.
It's like the song game. You give like one note.
Yeah. Finish the lyrics.
Finish the lyrics.
It could be like finish the lyrics.
Finish the
but
title.
Like, you know you're a parent when.
Right. Okay, let's hear it.
Like, for instance, Brittany.
Okay.
When I go, ha, 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 ha.
It's the Snow White from Wreck-It Ralph.
You got it.
Yes. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. And it's fun because these ones are also probably inside jokes with your family. Like there are certain lines from movies that you would know that maybe another couple would be like, the fuck? That was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Do you have any more?
Well, like if I said, I've got friends, and I said it like, I've got friends.
In low place.
That's Garth Brooks, and that would indicate that you like country music, not that you're a parent.
I don't understand.
See, this is where the game can get challenging, because you would.
Or that's
I would
just a
think
stupid clue.
No, I would think instantly you'd be like, I got friends on the other side.
Yeah, you're right.
He's
Tiana.
got friends
That's good.
on the other side.
I got one.
Yeah.
B-I-B-L.
What?
Oh no.
B-I-B-L?
No, disregard the first one.
Well, now I'm confused.
Okay, here it is.
Do you have one or not?
I do. Ready?
It doesn't sound like you're prepared.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready? B-L. You don't have it?
No.
B-L-I-P-P-I.
Oh, Blippy. Yeah, well, no.
That was a good one. You should have got it.
No, if you were going to do a Blippy, I would have gone,
Wow.
I'm on...
No.
And I would have been excavator.
That is too easy. I was trying to give you a sneak attack. Or like, oh, wow.
Yeah, well,
let's explore this play center today.
Two things. He doesn't sound remotely like Mickey Mouse.
He does.
And second of all, the way you said B-I, I thought maybe it's one of those. Okay. First of all, you screwed it up. You said B-I.
Yes, I said
Second of all,
Etch-a-Sketch it.
I couldn't. It's still in my head.
Okay.
I know what Etch-a-Sketch is. And just if you're seeing this, it did not look like you did an Etch-a-Sketch. Shake weight. You did a shake weight. Your mama sure likes your education.
Oh my God, let's wrap this
Anyways,
shit up. It's a great game, babe. That was great.
Anyways, you screwed up on the Blippy, and I'll tell you why you screwed up on the Blippy. You sounded like a cross between Mickey Mouse and some high school cheerleader. So I went automatically with like, I don't know what high school musicale.
Yeah,
Brittany
great game
is trying to indicate. It's a good game.
Love it.
You know you're a parent when
Game of Thrones.
Enter the dragon.
All right. See ya.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Peace out, A-Town. Boop, 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 blippy.
There goes a sight from my soul.